My friends and I often joke about the Chloe curse, and I don't legitimately believe that I'm cursed, but it has taken me years to build up the confidence to come and start vlogging. It's something that I've always wanted to do. And I was like, right, today is a Monday, start of the week, interesting week ahead of me, let's do it. Let's do it. Set the camera up, set the tripod up, set the light up, got my makeup, and yeah, our first thunderstorm has just started in months. So, but yeah, I'm currently getting ready. I have to go to the dentist today. And there's quite a lot going on at the moment, and I haven't been the most active on social media, so I just thought, you know what, and the thing is as well, a lot of the stuff that I have that's going on, it's not the cheeriest, and I feel really bad kind of coming on social media and just being like, this is going wrong, this is going wrong, this is going wrong, whereas I feel like if I maybe start filming things and I kind of just release a video, that seems a little bit less negative, because there's probably going to be funny things, little things interspersed in that. Little things that like I wouldn't really think about making a social media post about. Cinna is now 7 months old, but he has been so difficult. He is not straightforward at all. He brings me so much joy and happiness, but yes, he is objectively not a good assistance dog prospect, so that's a whole thing. And lastly, Ted is really ill at the moment. Hopefully I'm just being dramatic and he will be fine, but the vet can't figure out what's wrong. And essentially he's not completely sound on any of his legs. Now, if I was to show you a video of him right now, you would think that he was completely fine. But the thing is, he's not running around. There's just something off. Like, I'm sure any of you who are dog owners will know watching this. Even if your dog isn't outright limping, you can just tell when something isn't right. Like, you know when something is off, and like kind of trying to prove that or get somebody else to recognize that can be really, really difficult. And certainly my vet kind of looks at him and was like, well, you know, he's not limping. And I was like, yeah, but he's just not right. Like, he's really not right. So he currently has a referral in place to a specialist, but that's not going to be for another month, which leaves me in a very difficult position in that I essentially have no assistance dog for the next month, because it's not really fair to expect a dog who isn't sound to work. But there are some good things going on too. It's not all bad, but it's just that the bad things that have been going on have kind of consumed everything, so to speak. I suppose something that I struggle with is that I never want to be a negative presence. I never want to be somebody where people kind of, they see a post from me and they're like, oh God, no, what now? Like, there's always a problem. However, the downside of that is that it means whenever something is kind of going wrong, I tend to isolate myself. And I suppose that doesn't tend to give the most realistic perception of who I am and how I navigate life. And that's okay, like, people don't need to know, but I do feel sometimes, admittedly, a little bit guilty when I receive comments like, oh, you're so inspirational, or you're so positive. And it's like, well, am I? Am I? Or do I just not speak when I'm not in a very specific mindset? Do you know what I mean? And I think that that's a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit risky, I suppose. Is that even? Or is my face uneven? So up until very recently, I was literally going to the dentist, I think it was once a week for about 18 months. I underwent Invisalign treatment, and then I had composite bonding when I was done. And I've just remembered that I am gonna look such a mess when I come out of the dentist, and I always forget this. I always do my makeup and I'm like, yeah, like I really like it today, and then I will come out and literally here It's just going to be white because it'll take all my makeup off. Oh, I never learn. However, what I will say is that currently we are in, you know, a little global panini, and so I'll be wearing a mask, so I suppose you won't be able to tell. Everything's still shut down in the UK at the moment. You can go to a pub or a restaurant, but only if you're eating outside. I've had my first vaccine now. I have my second next week. So I have been back now for a couple of hours from the dentist. It went fine. It was just a hygiene appointment. I've had some tea and now I'm just kind of trying to figure out what to do with the rest. Alright, well I think that answers that then. So we are currently at Manchester City Etihad Football Stadium. I have come and brought my nana for her vaccination. She gets a little bit nervous driving in the city, so I just basically come along and I'm essentially an emotional support human. But as with any prospective assistance dog handler, we're going to use this kind of environment as an opportunity for training, because there's a lot going on here. There's building works, there's tents, there's people in high vis. It really is quite an interesting environment. So I'm gonna get Sinner out of the car and do some training. I don't know how much of it I'll be able to film, but this is kind of the way that I operate when I'm training an assistance dog, whether it be for me or for somebody else. There's Ted. What a good boy. Is that I will basically utilize every opportunity that I have for exposure, training, habituation, socialization. And that is pretty much the way my life goes for about 2 years. But we'll see how it goes. So we have all of this going on. And then on the other side, here, is loads of building work. And so it's really great for me to be able to kind of habituate him from a distance, and now it's raining, on getting used to these things, but from a distance that he's comfortable with. So we've moved back a little bit now, and basically what I'm hoping to reward here is interest in the environment that is of a low intensity. So I like at the moment how his body language is interested but relaxed, and it's things like that that I'm going to reward. I don't necessarily want him focused on me the entire time. In his job, that's just not going to work. I want him to be able to take in his environment, process it, deal with it. Look at him raiding my pockets for more treats. See, there, you'll hopefully be able to hear it. Ooh. So that's excellent, because there, just before that happened, we had a car beep its horn behind me, and then we had a really loud bang over there. And as you can see, he's dealt with that amazingly. The lead is behind him. He could have bolted at that noise. He didn't. I would consider that to be excellent, to be honest with you. Sinner? Yeah, and I'm still getting his focus. So that, for me, that's amazing. This is the current mood. It is now Wednesday morning. I have counselling in 20 minutes and I look like this, so this is going well. I think a rest day is definitely needed today. Christ. Well, my last check-in with you was that I was going to have a rest day. I did do that, and then rested enough that at 1 a.m. it seemed like an excellent idea to do a full face of makeup and call my best friend who lives in Kentucky. It is now 4:45 the following day. I will absolutely complain about being tired tomorrow, but I have no regrets. So I don't know how bad the audio quality is going to be sat here actually, but we have come down to the vets for Ted. He has gone in to have some blood tests done just to double check that we're not missing anything. Pretty interesting situation going on here with Cinna. We came down to the vets in a bit of a rush. So I don't actually have any treats for him. Usually at this stage in his training, I would always bring treats with me. But I haven't been able to. And so this is a little bit of a test for him to see if he can just chill out here with me. I've got a pretty busy road behind me, and then there's dogs coming and going in the vets in front of me. So far so good. I would like him to settle a little bit more if possible, but you know, no treats, no expectations. Let's just see how he gets on. So I'm actually pretty much dairy intolerant, and these are plant-based. A pistachio mousse with a chocolate ganache on the bottom. Okay, so admittedly, I can't claim that it looks the most appetizing, but this is really nice. It's so refreshing and light. I would definitely recommend checking these out if you're in the UK. So today is Friday, it's the 14th of May, which means, should we tell them what that means? It is my Nana's birthday today, so we're having a get together for her 69th birthday. She'll kill me for mentioning how old she is. But first I'm gonna take Ted to the field. He is getting progressively more stiff, and I'm just a little bit concerned that at this point he's potentially stiff because he's been on such severe rest that his muscles are tightening up. And so I'm going to take him to the field. I am not going to take this one with me. I am not. You will give me too many issues. He won't be off lead, but just to kind of get his muscles moving again and just keep them active, because, you know, I know better than anyone. The worst thing that you can do is to stop and stay still. It's so lovely to see him happy. Like, this is the happiest that I've seen him in... He's decided to get on my knee. This is the happiest that I've seen him in weeks. I kind of feel like maybe he's depressed and down because of that. Like, everything that he loves, agility, running about, playing with me, working for me, all of that's had to stop. And so to see him up here, I've got him on lead. I'm not letting him run around. I just wanted him to stretch his legs. It's so lovely. It is so lovely to see him happy. And it's good for him as well, you know, because he can sniff, he can explore, he can just kind of be in an environment which is more his natural environment, you know? But yeah, I'm so glad I brought him up, and it's making me a little bit emotional to see him being himself. Okay, it's now Saturday. I'm not feeling too great today, so I've just kind of taken it easy, to be honest with you. But considering I'm not really doing anything today, I thought that I could do some Cavaletti training with the dogs. I'll do it with both of them for different reasons. For Ted, it'll be great to kind of maintain his muscle and his back end while he's on rest. For Cinna, it'll be great for rear end awareness, which is very important. It's important for any dog, to be honest with you, but it's super helpful for assistance dogs and service dogs. because of how aware they need to be when they're out in public, moving in tight spaces, corners, you know, shopping centres, aisles, things like that. So I actually decided to cut the Cavaletti training with Sinner short. He has previously done it, but it's usually with me using my wheelchair, and unfortunately, because my house isn't accessible, I couldn't use my wheelchair indoors. And I think as you watch him, he struggled to kind of understand the concept. He wasn't quite sure if he should come back to me. But I think in this case, the fact that I was throwing treats had kind of increased his arousal and just meant that he was finding it really hard to control himself. So that's okay, we just stopped it, and we will try it in a different situation when I can use my wheelchair. As for Ted's Cavalettis, this was a much better example of the level of control that I would like to see during Cavaletti training. One of the things that I will say is I can't stress enough that you really should be consulting with a professional first before doing anything like this. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier on, the benefits are really interesting. You know, it can help correct the alignment of the dog's spine, flatten a roached back. It helps them learn a more balanced striding too. It can improve hip rotation, knee flexion, and as I mentioned earlier on, it gives them a better awareness of their back end, so it improves proprioception, which is basically the knowledge of where your joint is in a space. People use it for all sorts of different things actually, you know, whether it be service dog training, whether it be agility, standard fitness, there's so many different reasons that you might use it. On Sunday, I mainly just had a day of replying to a whole bunch of emails and correspondence that I had left for an embarrassingly long time, to be honest. Admittedly, actually, and it's kind of clear to me watching this vlog back, I feel kind of flat at the moment. I really would attribute it to Ted being sick. It's just really kind of thrown me to have, you know, my lifeline, I suppose, injured, and yeah, I don't know, it's having a real impact on me, but I managed to reply to a bunch of media inquiries, which I'm really thrilled about, and I do feel a lot lighter for having done that. It always makes me really nervous if I haven't got back to people. I always worry that they'll be angry at me. But I am hoping that in the week coming up, maybe I'll be able to get more work done. And this week has been pretty dog training heavy, whereas next week is going to be quite focused on the launch of my new website and everything that that's going to entail, and also some art too. So hopefully I'll see you again next week, and I hope you all enjoyed my first vlog. Side note, I had absolutely no idea how much I dance and sing while replying to emails.